This is Dave Neal with ESPN. You're listening to the Morning Rush.
Here's Jones on a keeper. Out over the 40 to midfield. Matt Jones may take it to the house. And the dunk.
From the 1-yard line, it's Felix Jones. He's to the 20. And Felix Jones could take this to the distance. The All-American last year is putting another one on the highlight reel. Trying to set up the screen to McFadden. He's got some running room. McFadden to midfield. McFadden slips through some white jerseys, and he will take it to the end zone. Touchdown, Razorbacks. How does he do it?
This is the opening drive.
Man, it was quite a trio in 2006 and 2007 with Peyton and Darren and Felix, and you heard Matt's touchdown, of course, that Dave called in 2004. Dave, appreciate you making some time for us. I know you've already been on one show today. I know golf sounds like it's on the itinerary if you can get 9 in. So you got a lot. You got a lot going on. We're at Walmart right now with the ESPN experience. Felix Jones, Peyton Hillis, and Darren McFadden are all going to be in attendance. What was it like, from your vantage point perspective, to call a game with so much talent in a backfield like Arkansas had 20 years ago?
Man, just listening to that just brought back so many memories. And my first thought was, I don't know that I've seen anything as dynamic as that was. Felix Jones, I mean, if it wasn't for Darren McFadden, we'd be talking about Felix Jones like we talk about Darren McFadden. I mean, it was just incredible that those two guys were just as good as they were, man. You just didn't know. I remember there was a game, Arkansas went to Auburn, and I don't know if one of those clips was from that or not, but early kickoff, and Auburn big favorite, and Arkansas goes over there and just wears them out, and McFadden had a huge game, and I walked out of there going, man, I don't know that I'll see something like this again. That guy was, I mean, just incredible. I've been very fortunate. I know that's, you're going back over that 2006 or something like that you said. I mean, we're talking almost 20 years ago. There have been some players that have been awesome to watch over the years, but man, few have been like McFadden. And you know, like I said, Matt Jones was a great quarterback too. I don't know that Matt Jones works in today's game, the pass game. You know, like quarterbacks today have to be able to run and throw. I mean, they just kind of morphed into this unbelievable athlete now. You got to be the best athlete on the field almost. Matt Jones was an unbelievable athlete, as we all know. Great basketball player in his own right. But I just think today you better be multidimensional if you're going to have success at a quarterback position. But still, man, that was awesome. Thanks for throwing those up there, man. I hadn't thought about that in a while.
You bring up the Auburn. I think about a Fred Talley call you had in 2002, where I think he's still running down there on the plains. All these memories kind of popped in my head as we're listening to some of those calls this morning, Dave. And I wonder, you mentioned Matt there, who obviously we played a highlight. He's a coworker and a friend of ours. There's always comparisons with him and Talon. They're both about 6'6", 6'7", both can run, both play quarterback at the University of Arkansas. Talon had some ups and downs last year. I know Arkansas fans really excited for what he could do in 2025. Dave, in your opinion, you watched him, you called some games last year. What is his ceiling in this offense under Bobby Petrino?
Well, I think his ceiling is what's around him. I think Talon Green is certainly super talented, uber talented. I mean, I think the one thing, talking to Bobby Petrino as much as I did last year about Talon, it was the little details, I think, that maybe held him back from being that next great superstar quarterback. The run game he's just naturally gifted in that department. I think the pass game is something that's a work in progress. I'm anxious to see how much that work on those little minute details pay off. The footwork you talk about, the shoulder turn, those little things that nuances that really only the quarterbacks that play that position understand the value to that. But when you hear Bobby Petrino talk about it, you know there's a lot of value in it. Now, who's going to catch the football? I mean, two things got to happen. Actually, three things. I mean, we all know. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm not creating anything we don't know here, but you got to be able to block for them. You can't be running nonstop for your life. 5 years in a row, 30-plus sacks allowed by this Arkansas offensive line. They got to be buttoned up this year. They made strides last year. They shaved that number down a little bit, but You got to be able to protect, and then you got to have somebody catch it. They had Armstrong last year, 70-plus catches. Who's going to be that guy to be your 60, 70 catches per season guy? Maybe it's Jaylen Brown. Who knows? Maybe it's one of the slot guys, C.J. Brown or Raylan Sharp. Omega Blake's had a nice little camp as well. So can those things work? And the other part is you got to be able to run the ball. The traditional run game has got to be a threat in today's world. You know, I'm not saying you have to run for 175 yards a game as a team, but you better be able to make teams honor it. And I like Russell and I like Washington, so I think there's an opportunity there for those guys to provide that. So I think Taylor Green has a chance to be elite level. I do. It just what is around him that will help make him successful.
Dave, as you get ready for this game and you're doing your homework, I'm sure it's a lot different. You mentioned Mike Washington, guy that played at New Mexico State last year. And how do you go about getting ready? I'm excited to watch these guys because a lot of these guys, other than a little bit of practice footage, we haven't seen. I know you probably didn't watch a lot of New Mexico State ball. How are you getting ready for all of these SEC games with so many fresh and new players and names and numbers to learn, and a guy like Mike Washington this weekend? How do you go about it?
Well, thank goodness for the internet. When I started doing this back in the mid-late 90s, it was a little bit more difficult finding stuff, even though the internet was there. It wasn't as much information. I'll be honest, schools have provided us. I'm very fortunate to do SEC football, where these schools spend a lot of money and resources on media relations and people that provide information and give it to you, send it to you, whether it's, newspaper clippings that they have kept or stuff that the school produces. They get all that information to us. But the bottom line is you got to do lead work, man. You got to get out there. You got to, Google. I mean, seriously, it's as simple as that. You try to find the little nuances. And we'll get on campus, we'll talk with, I'll be in town later tonight, but we'll meet with coaches tomorrow and hopefully meet with some of these players and just kind of figure out who they are, really. You said it, man. This transfer portal has made my work. It's added a few hours, to say the least, especially when you do in Arkansas where there's 30, 31 transfers. Mm-hmm. Some guys even transferred twice since their last school. So it's a little extra leg work, but I enjoy it, man. That's what this is. This is fun. It's fun to get to know who these guys are. So I'm anxious to see him play too.
Yeah. So as you've watched Mike Washington's film from last year, is he an SEC back? I mean, I know people around the program are really high on him. What's your analysis? You're a guy that's seen this league a long time. Is Mike Washington going to fit in the SEC?
Yeah, the one thing that I noticed about Mike Washington that I didn't see a lot of, that I think a lot of backs in this league, they got to be able to catch the ball. And I look at Braylon Russell. I know he didn't get a lot of work. There were a couple starts last year. I saw him. I forget what. Maybe Mississippi State. He had just a tremendous game. I think it was Mississippi State last year, and you saw the potential in him. You see, when I watched the videotape I actually went back and watched some video of Mike Washington in Buffalo, and he was dominating a few games I saw there too. I think as a runner, I think he's fully capable. But one of these guys, whether it's Rodney Hill, Brandon Russell, or Mike Washington, got to be effective catching the ball in the backfield. I think Mike Washington has that capability. Had 9 catches last year, but not a lot in his career. I don't know that he's been used that way. But as far as running the football between the tackles, I think he is fully capable. And this has a chance to be a really good running back situation at Arkansas. Again, if the line can hold up, I think that's $1 million question at Arkansas. I think the coaches will have a pretty good idea right away how these guys kind of work together. And obviously Saturday's a game that they expect to win and win handily. But I think it gives them an opportunity to kind of see how this thing will look moving forward as you get closer and closer to the SEC. And of course, it's not exactly an easy gauntlet in September for this team. So the quicker the better. You get to find out what these guys look like.
Dave Neal, SEC Network, ESPN. He's on the broadcast tomorrow for Arkansas and Alabama A&M. Dave, I know you got a busy day, so we appreciate you making some time for us this morning, man.
Yeah, man, always a pleasure. Can't wait. Always love getting over to Northwest Arkansas, so I'll see you boys in a couple days.
He's been a fixture of the SEC for decades upon decades, and always good to hear some old calls.
You don't always win your first bet. That's why MyBookie has you covered. Use our code HOGS, H-O-G-S, and your first bet up to $500 is fully covered. If your pick doesn't hit, you get it right back with our Bet Back bonus. Go to mybookie.ag and use the code HOGS to claim your Bet Back bonus. MyBookie's, where bettors win together, because bragging's good, but cashing in is better. And your first bet is fully covered. Use our code HOGS.
Got a little jingle